Hello and welcome to this video. I have with me a newly made friend, Mr. John Fishell. How are you, John?
I'm great, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and you inspired a video that I really felt was one of my best videos of recent times.
Well, the best part about it was the sort of history of prog rock drumming, which I've never had someone put it all together like that
Well,
before.
so for those of you who don't know, and if you're watching this channel, you should know. I did a video recently called "Is Annika Better Than Neil?" As in Annika Nilles, is she better than Neil Peart? Now that's a very interesting question for me. Now that was inspired by Mr. Fishell's video that I saw, which was a follow-up to another video you'd done, which I found where you and I've just stuck in one of my videos because I love it. You did a really short video going, Annika's better than Neil Peart. That was it. Better drummer. That was it. And apparently you had a lot of pushback, so you answered that. And what you were saying was you were basically saying, from a field point of view and a technical point of view, the normal things you normally judge. I know she's streets ahead of Neil Peart. We know this isn't for me a mad claim because Neil is in a different bracket of drummers where his genius is not about his ability to play like say Vinnie Colaiuta. He's nowhere near a Vinnie Colaiuta as a drummer. But what he is, he's an individualist that's carved his own place in drums, which has been incredibly influential and has actually, it did raise the level of technical drumming. He played a part in it. There's a certain way that you play. So I thought that was very interesting. But from your end, this video that went a little bit viral of you, trying to justify, has ended up. You've got had a lot of negative. Tell us about the video, why you did it. But I think before we start, John, I didn't realise you'd got such an illustrious CV and was such a heavyweight, So if you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, all that stuff, and then
Oh, sure. Again, I'm John Fishell. I've been banging around for a few years. I actually used to be like you. I used to be a college professor for a number of years, 28 years.
yeah.
The kids came along very late in my life, and I decided I wanted to be an artist. So I've just devoted the last 5 years doing that. In addition, I've been an engineer producer, mostly, believe it or not, mostly in jazz. I don't know why the jazz people like me, but they do. I did a lot of work with David Liebman, who's an incredible saxophonist, and through him, I got to work with just sit next to just wonderful drummers. Billy Hart has always been my favorite. He's just so kind to me as
Yeah.
well. Jack DeJohnette, Airto Moreira, Vinny Colaiuta came by. Jamie Haddad is a world percussionist, plays with Paul Simon. And these guys, uh, they're also in their own class. And, when you're around people in their own class, they take on a personality, and I don't know that about Annika. I really don't. But to bring it back home, that's kind of who I am. I'm trying to push out albums. I'm trying to be an artist. Some things are going great, and some things are giant struggle. And yeah, that's right. In fact, I just came back from UK not long ago with a world music fella, doing our thing, and just like the kids out there, just trying to get a foothold.
So those of you who are interested in this, interested in John, he will send me the best link. John, send me the best link and I will put it in the thing for this video. And this is really what this is about. Is that it's a new world at the moment, and the way you get your music out there and you collaborate with different people is in this way, and that's what this is really about. And I'm hoping, there's some serious players who watch this and they will be interested in this conversation. So my next question would be, what motivated you to do the first video, and then why did you do the second video? Because I think it was the second video you answering them that did even bigger than the first, wasn't it? So tell us what happened there.
Well, I mean, like everybody else, I'm glued to the YouTube, just dying to hear what this band is going to sound like. I think the first thing I saw were they were on Canadian
Yep.
Music Awards. That was the first, and they had just doing Working Man, which
Yeah.
is what it is.
Mm.
And I'm just dying to hear this thing. I don't have the $500 for the
No.
ticket. I've been living Rush for most of my teenage years, I was just really keen on what they were going to do and the story and so on. And I turned the Canada thing on, and I thought, okay, she's got it down, and then somebody, like, as the concert was going in LA, the YouTube stuff was coming in, and I thought, okay, she looks pretty good, she's sounding pretty good, but I'm not going to be able to know with this crap audio. Then I started hearing the good audio. A good friend of mine is also a drummer, and I was just like, I think I'd rather listen to ANIKA than Neil. I mean, I've been there with Neil in the room, and he looks like he's working really hard, or he used to look like he's working so hard. His hands are just like fighting drums. Where I'm watching ANIKA, and she's finessing, and the same notes are coming out. And then I started like, okay, well, let me just listen to the timing here. And the Getty and Alex are rushing because they're so used to Neil rushing. I think that's going to straighten out. I'm arguing with my friend, and I'm like, this woman is better. She's just hands down a better player. And I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to say so. And I did. And here we are.
How dare you have an opinion? So what was
she
the reaction?
is, though. I mean, you can, like, she's so much more fluid. Like, I bet she could do another whole concert after the concert, whereas Neil was wiped. And it's just a technique thing, I think.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know what it is, and it's like I can see it because I'm a drum teacher, and it's not because I've got perfect technique. It's because we all battle with it, and we all have our own experiences. And ANIKA is like one of those people that was like properly schooled from a young age. I'm not that. I'm much closer to being a Neil, in terms of what I do. But these type of players, because I've taught kids like this. A kid comes in and you teach them proper technique from day one. They don't have the problems that I have. Being a rock drummer that had to work it out myself. And I've done that video today. It's very interesting. What I thought was a genius move by Rush is the fact that in choosing ANIKA, I think there's a really strange subtext where the Rush fans, who were those sort of incel, type of boys, listening to Subdivisions in 1982, they've grown up, and they're quite sensible middle-aged men, and I think they've got a very good attitude towards ANIKA, which is a little bit fatherly, shall we say. And so they want to go, oh, isn't she wonderful? She's doing such a brilliant job. Neil would be so proud. So that is the way they've reacted on the surface. But I think if you push that and start to go, yeah, no, this is way better. She's just way better. This is like, this has never happened before. We've got a rock band that's been going for 50 years, and then they're almost like dead on their arse, really, and then suddenly this one person comes in and it's better.
Yeah. I think there is an aspect that no one's saying it.
No
Maybe
one's saying
you said
it. You
but
said
there
it.
is like a feminist thing happening that, like, all us dudes my age, like, we grow up, like, the women they really were not paid as much. They were
Yeah.
not as well respected, and we are compensating. Like we all have wives and girlfriends going, you can't say that anymore. I think
You
there's some
dare
of
pick
that.
on Annika.
Yeah, and I think it was brilliant because you you're a jerk if you say she's not as good in a way, right? Like you're a sexist
Yeah.
if you say, and I don't know that they planned that, you
Well,
know.
say if Mike Portnoy had done it, he would have eaten it alive. But Portnoy would have been spinning the sticks. He would have been
Right.
making sure he's got a lot of the spotlights on him. He would have been gobbing everywhere. That's English for spitting. He would have been doing all that, and maybe he's pulling it off. But you in yourself would go, "Oh God, Portnoy." Oh, he's taking it over a bit. Neil was never like this. He was always quite humble, and then you want to see him cocking up. I think most drummers from that realm, you'd want to see them cock up. You'd want Neil to kick their arse a little bit. So all these things coming into play now. What yours? It was when you got the pushback and you went online. When I saw it, I thought, oh, he's having to explain why Neil is so great to appease a bunch of people who just can't deal with someone saying that Annika's a better drummer
Oh,
than
like
Neil.
60,000 people's heads exploded
So
the second.
what was the sort of pushback from that fan base then when you actually do push the button? When you don't go, oh, she did such a great job for a lady, and it was so wonderful, and oh my God, let's cheer the fills because she managed to pull off Neil Peart fills, which you could probably do in her sleep, but I'm going to pretend it was really hard for her.
Yeah.
What it was when you pushed that button, what was the pushback like?
I mean, a lot of it was ridiculous. Like, what the hell we have Edgar Winter telling us about drums? That was funny to me because I look like crap on those videos. No, I think it was, Neil did it first. A lot of that, she's playing Neil's fills.
Yeah,
I
this
got
is
a
all
lot of that.
true. This is fair enough. It's true. Yeah.
She can't write lyrics. We don't know. Like, I don't know. Well, Neil is the professor. She's simply copying. And I can't necessarily argue with those things, but I can argue that, I mean, the drums are mixed up pretty high on these videos, so which is great. I love that. And like she's nailing it. And I think the hardest thing for her is just remembering the set, and just dealing with the pressure of 40,000 people, which is its own thing. As far as playing that stuff, no problem.
Yeah, she's got no problem playing this. What's incredible, it is perhaps the most pressured drum gig in history. And that was the thing that I found so
More
interesting.
than Phil Collins on Live Aid.
Um, I don't think they felt pressured. That's the problem with the Zepp Live Aid debacle. And I don't think Phil was the one who cocked it up. And
Yeah.
Tony Thompson, the other guy, who's one of my favourite drummers, they're both monster drummers. Now, I spoke with Robert. I mean, this is often told, and he explained what he thought was going on. And I think it was two drummers on stage is nuts. You haven't played together for like years. You're not rehearsed. You're a producer. What could make that worse? Let's have two drummers on stage. One drummer will steer it. If it's a car crash, the drummer will rescue it. That's the part of the job of the drummer. Two drummers can't rescue it. And I think Tony Thompson was rushing the fills because he's got that real tight funk way of playing. So he's doing that sort of thing Dennis Chambers does. So when he comes out in the rolls, the hit is on the da.
Mhm.
Bam, bam. Whereas Phil
Yeah.
Collins has got that more Bonham feel, and I
Mhm.
think that was messing up on stage for them, who were having to really rely on the cues that are going on. I think Phil had got Concord over and he'd played his set. Right, what am I doing next? I'm playing for Led Zeppelin. Whereas this one, it's a 2.5 hour show, and it's a gig where you have to do the fills right.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
there's notes. It's orchestral.
yeah.
There's a. I mean, I'm sure there are many a transcription of Neil's fills,
Oh yeah, so that
and
you live by them.
yeah,
I,
and she has to do that. And if she doesn't do that, there's going to be a lot of people upset having paid their $500 and
yeah.
not seeing, you know.
But also, she's going to get slated as not being because the thing with the Rush fans is that I see Rush as a unique band. They're a gateway. You say you're a huge Rush fan. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Rush fan, but you've ended up like producing like Dave Lieben and having to record people like Jack DeJohnette. And I know Neil would be sat with us going, yeah, that this is amazing. Sorry, I got a call coming through. So, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Sorry about that. If I'll have to. That's my wife ringing him up. She'll keep trying this over and over again.
Oh,
Oh,
you're in trouble now.
yeah. So, where's my phone? I'll just text her. You know I leave all this in, don't you? I don't like edits because I always feel that when there's an edit, people think, "What? Oh my God! Stop it!" Sorry about
You
this.
better stop talking shit about Annika.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. Right, where is she? I think she might have got the message there.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's a totally different thing. I mean, Neil playing big band was a thing, that he did, and okay, you know, is he a big band drummer? Well, I don't know. He's I don't know. He was he
I
won.
did a drum festival once, and I
Did
was
you?
sat with the biggest drummers going. I won't say who, but
Okay.
there were some big names there, and some of them had been on that Buddy Rich Day.
Oh yeah.
On the way the question came up is they were all chatting, and they said, "What's the worst question on a drum clinic?" And this guy says, "Well, it's when someone says, 'What do you think of Neil Peart?'" And
Really?
yeah, and I was like, "Well, why?" And they said, "Well, because you can't answer it correctly. You either say he's the greatest drummer, right, or you don't answer it. If there's any inkling that you don't think he's the greatest drummer in the world," and these people I'm talking about are like legendary drummers are saying this, massively famous drummers, and there was a couple of them, I think two or three, had been on the Buddy Rich Day. They played on it. It was that level, and they said that Neil was shocked at the level of the players.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was really shocked at how incredible they were. And the one that blew his mind was Will Calhoun,
Hmm.
Living Colours drummer, who he just thought would be another rock drummer coming in, not like Steve Gadd or whoever it is that was on the thing, Weckl or whoever it is. Oh, but of course Will Calhoun is a jazz-based player,
Yeah.
can do all that stuff. And Neil was struggling, which is what motivated him to go and get the lessons with Gruber. So this issue has been there for ages. Now,
I
from
mean,
your
I am a huge fan of Neil Peart.
yeah,
Like
and me, I
my
love him.
fandom knows no bounds.
And you're a producer, so when you listen to the drumming on, say, Moving Pictures, which I think
Ah,
is an album where everything came together in a way. I mean, the production. What do you think of the drum sound on that and the work?
yeah, like as far as the tight thing, like the tight, not a lot of room,
Yeah,
not a lot of energy in the recording thing. To me, that's way superior than Steely Dan's
yeah.
approach.
I mean, that's you've hit the nail on the head. Yeah, yeah.
Like Terry Brown, come on, like that dude was killing. I much prefer the subdivisions like thing
Mm,
as far as how he's in the song, but
yeah.
but yeah, like all that stuff, permanent wave, moving pictures, subdivisions, even, I mean, Grace Under Pressure, we're starting to do different
Yeah.
stuff, which
But
is
as a
also
producer,
great.
how listening to those drum parts, how would you assess them? Because
I
you're
mean,
saying,
if I were to ask my drummer to do that, he would say, "Why do you want me to shit on this song? Like, why do you want me to talk so much on a song?" And I'm like, and usually I'm pushing for that, because it's great. He's saying a lot of things. He's chattering. But it's all kind of interlaced. Like, I'm trying to think of some of the side B, like camera eye stuff. Side B of moving pictures, where it's a lot of hi hat things, and it's back to a long song. I mean, I don't get bored of it because of Neil.
yeah,
If we had the Pink Floyd drummer in there, I'd have turned that thing off 10 minutes ago. Because there's nothing propelling me forward.
yeah, that's what I think his genius is, and I think what's strange about Rush is their sort of commercial peak, which is Tom Sawyer, which is so big that it's been in films, and it's like it was on Futurama. It actually is one of those songs that crosses over into a cultural space. It represents something for people. It's such an incredible song, and yet that has possibly got his hardest drum part. And so they're like hooks.
Right, right. That's a great, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's and you want it so bad. Like, they start that song, and that's all you want. You want to get to that part.
Yeah. Oh, she's doing it again. I'm gonna have to bloody tell her in a minute. I could just answer the first one, couldn't I? Um, hang on, sorry about this.
That's no problem.
Right, that's done now. So, where are we?
I don't know.
You see, the thing with me is, as you watch the channel, the fact that I've got my wife calling all the way through this, and I'm trying to do this very male thing with it. I'm trying to talk to you about bloody Rush. And my wife's messaging me said I've got to do something and go up the shops and we need something. And, she's doing all that thing, and yet this conversation is it's a boys' conversation, isn't it? What we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, do
You know
you
what I'm
remember
saying?
when we were young, trying to explain Rush to some girl who's literally listening to Duran Duran, you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, 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 wait, like, this part here is really good, and they're like, uh, okay, why am how come I can't? Why am I trying to dance to this, and then I can't? Well, that's a time signature thing,
That's what
you know.
makes it good, you stupid woman.
Yeah, like and then the women who did get it, they somehow weren't as attractive.
No, and it's funny because the other band from that period I absolutely love is Van Halen. And
Oh
last
yeah.
night I was watching Van Halen. There was a concert just been put up the internet, 1981. They're at their peak. So you've got Dave Lee Ross lyrics and that whole thing that he adds to it. Then after that he went to a Rush concert, and this I think it was Limelight. So Limelight comes on, and Geddy sings, "One must put up barriers to keep oneself intact." And I thought, this is what, if you want Dave Lee, if there's a certain person that go, what the hell's what are they singing about, and why is he singing it in that voice? So there's that thing that was like the repellent for the rest of the world, and you were in this club that was the worst club to have ended up in, like, why am I
I
in the
mean,
golf club?
we're all playing D&D. We
Yeah,
didn't mind the kimonos,
no.
you know. We also loved Van Halen, and I like the way the lion runs up the back of her stocking. You know, we like that too. Like, you know, come on.
But it's as this is what I find interesting. That thing has finally won over. And
Mm.
you feel that Rush are the biggest rock band of all time. I first felt it on the Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins tribute
Oh,
because
right, right.
you're watching it and then suddenly Rush come on and you feel like every other guy there knows that this is the real band. If you're
Mm.
cool, you know, if you are a cool rock guy now, you know who Rush is, and they all want to be, they want them there. And when they started up into 2112, you had that feeling like, yeah, I'm in the special club, not like I'm in the dork club, you know.
Well, I mean, there's one thing I think, and I think Neil was a big part of this, and which is it seemed like that band did whatever the fuck they wanted to do.
Yes.
End of story. They didn't give a shit
No.
how many women, men, others showed up. They're just gonna, this is it, and you can get on the bus or go over there, you know, and you gotta love that, you know.
Well, I
I mean,
can
imagine
remember
if
there was
Neil
a point.
Peart's playing on.
I'm trying to introduce this idea of the rehabilitation of Rush that I saw a shift happening, and I can
Yeah.
remember teaching probably about 5 years ago, and I got these kids in there, and they were stoner kids. You know, they're
Mm.
like stoner kids basically, and they played me some band. Andy, what do you think of this? What, you know? I'm listening to it. I said, wait, it sounds like Rush. And they were like blank, and I said, you know, Rush sounds like Rush, and they went, never heard Rush. So I went, okay, everyone sit down, everyone sit down. So they sit the class down. I'm in teaching in this big performance space. So we've got a full PA in
Mm.
there. So
Nice.
I hook up Cygnus X1
Mm.
and I put the bit where it's going down, down, ba-da-dum, down, down, ba-da-dum, bam, bam. Now
Yeah, I
that's
got
it.
you. Yeah.
And these kids are just going, what is this? It's absolutely blowing their mind.
Good.
Whatever little stoner bands they were listening to, they'd never heard this before. They're like, well, what's this about? Well, they flying into a black hole. What? That's what the song's. Yeah, it's a song about flying into a black hole. You know, it's like their minds were blown, and I could see that for some reason, all the things that were untrendy, there's that next generation. I think it's the postmodernism that they are able to look at it and enjoy it because of bands like almost like Steel Panther and that whole thing. They could see that this was hardcore.
Mm.
So that has been part of this Rush coming back because, oh, how can Rush come back? Then they bring ANIKA in. Then we get this big thing. I mean, for me, I can't go on YouTube because it's all I'm getting is this, like the first show, the second show, the third show, the fourth, and I'm watching it all like it's the World Cup,
Great. Yeah.
you know. And you would have thought that you come in and go, oh my God, she's amazing. I'm a Rush fan. I love Neil, but my God, she's because she's kicked it out the park basically.
You know, I would pay. I don't know what I would pay. It's hard to say what I would pay when you got kids around. Um, I would not be disappointed if I went to that show and Annika only played half the fills and the rest of them rehearse. You know, I that wouldn't challenge me at all.
You know, your camera, when you said that, it did that Jaws thing. When the thing when he's on the beach and he suddenly realizes the shark is there and it does that
Right.
thing. Your camera just attempted to do that to add drama to what you just said. That's amazing. That's what I got you on for. Thank you. You've done it yet. What happens if what happens if she gets a foothold and starts taking it all over? What if she starts doing stuff that's even cooler? What if they make a new album? And because I don't think I followed her for 10 years because I'm a drummer. She's insane.
Yeah.
It's like the chops. She's one of those drummers that's out there. And the thing about ANIKA is she's not just one of those gospel chops drummers. She's not one of those metal drummers like Matt Garsker. She's not one of those sort of Chris Dave hip hop things. She can do all that, plus her expertise is like metric modulation and these really strange timings and strange stuff like that. What's going to happen if they make an album and she brings all that in? Because what we're going to have is a Rush album with drumming like no one's ever heard. It's going to be next
Well, no,
level.
I think people have heard it, just not the Rush
Not
fans.
Rush, yeah, not the Rush fans, yeah.
You know, I mean, in my mind, there's a book somewhere with lyrics of Neil's that never got recorded, you know, and somehow that comes out of the estate. You know, like, well, we got this material.
You're full of so much stuff here. You've really worked this one out. So there needs, and that is even better if you can find an esoteric book. Maybe when he was doing his motorcycle riding,
Mm.
doing that long thing, he left pages of it, and then he left clues in the last album.
And then we have to actually go to
Yeah,
Xanadu
and
to
then
find
the
it.
fans have to go out, work out the clues, dig down, and then you pull all the paper together. Then you have this holy grail of lyrics that can be passed on to the aging Geddy and Alex. Because the other thing that I found really interesting in this is that when you watch the intro video, they appear and they're like in this old house,
Right.
and they're all cobwebby and old. And
So great.
I thought, can they be replaced? I mean, how far can you go with this? When does Geddy can they get another singer in and just Geddy plays bass and keyboards? And suddenly you've got Rush with an amazing singer.
Well, I think we have to talk about in the ascent of Annika, we at some point somebody's got to say something about Getty's register,
Yep.
you know, and like Freddie Mercury was the master at kind of bringing things lower so he
Yeah.
could sing it. And again, that wouldn't bother me to hear from Getty. I mean, he is trying his butt off to get
And he has done
the.
that a little bit. He is doing that harmonizing down thing
Oh
on
yeah,
some of them.
I mean, yeah, I think we do like that has to be part of the discussion and the future of this band of 80-year-olds. I mean, they're coming up on 80 years old, right? So you got a new drummer. I, I I don't know that Getty's bass playing and Getty's or Alex's soloing can be replaced. I don't know that Neil's words can be replaced. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, but I mean, here we are at the beginning of something, you know.
Yeah, it's the beginning of something. It's very interesting where it goes. Now, from a more general point of view, with the music industry the way it is, and us all being negative about it normally, and me getting by on doing videos about AI and streaming and Spotify's evil, machinations to destroy all the creativity in the world. This is actually a very positive story, and no one's questioning whether those venues are sold out. They're all sold out. I mean, how long can they go on for that forum? They're still there now doing
Yeah,
those gigs.
they're still eating breakfast.
So what does it mean to near 80-year-olds getting out and being able to just, especially Rush of all bands, to just, it's almost, this is their plot line, isn't it? It doesn't matter what goes on in the world. Their bizarre take on music always seems to win out, and they go, right, we're coming back. Hey everyone, we're coming back, and the next thing's the biggest thing there is.
You know,
Biggest.
I think part of it is their nerdism has saved them. Like, imagine they're out there. Well, I mean, they had that first album, but imagine they're out there talking about banging chicks and stuff, and they're 80. Like, it doesn't work.
Word
Like,
doesn't
Sammy
work.
Hagar's out there right now. He's the same age,
Yeah,
and his audiences are kind of dwindling. I love the guy.
yeah.
He's so good. But like, really, we're we're talking about that still. You know,
Do you think this can transfer to newer artists and younger artists? Do you think that this being a big success and no one saying all that negative stuff, and I'm sure that if they were then to do a Rush album, I'm buying it.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
we're all gonna
we're all
buy
going to
it.
buy that one, and like you say, the tickets are $500 a ticket. It's not like those are sold out with, they are making millions and millions and millions, and the show is incredible. The projections, all of it's unbelievable. Does this trickle down to the, new artists? I mean, do you know the band Crownlands?
No, I
So,
don't know.
so Crownlands actually contacted me about 2 years ago. I've known of them for ages. They are a trio that sound like Rush.
Hmm.
And they do all the Rush things, and their tracks are 20 minutes long. And if Rush were to do an album like Crownlands, we'd all be going, oh my God, this is a return to form. This is brilliant.
Hmm.
But when I heard it, I was a little bit like, well, it sounds like Rush. Why would you want to do that? And I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know what to make of it. The Angine de Poitrine phenomenon almost seems to be in the same bracket as this Rush comeback as well. There's another, well, it's a duo, but there seems to be a nerdy market for that type of thing. I don't know. I don't know where this goes. But nothing I
Well,
wanted
I
to
mean,
ask
you
you about.
saw what happened. Alex had a little band for a second,
Yeah,
with a female singer, right?
yeah,
They went nowhere,
no.
nowhere. So, and I know it was fun. I'm sure it was fun for them, but I don't know that our tummies are ready to eat that. I think I don't know. That's a great question.
Well,
I mean, if
when
they,
you put it like that, it's the thing is I like to think that I'm not conned by the branding.
hmm,
That you go and buy a very expensive ticket to go and see the Rolling Stones, so you can then film it and put it up and say I was in the presence of the Rolling Stones. It doesn't matter whether half of them aren't there. It doesn't matter as long as they're playing the hits and they're somewhere in the vicinity. It's like you're buying the ticket to be in the presence of greatness. Whereas when you were buying a Rush ticket back in 1982, they were just a band and they were amazing. You went to see them, and that I don't feel like I've been affected by. But actually, the whole Crownlands thing. If I love Rush, why don't I like them? Well, because they haven't got the branding. They're not Rush. This is Rush. Um, it could well be that actually this is the last gasp of the legacy bands as they hit, like you say, 80 years old. And
well, I don't know. I think there's room. I think there's room inside of popular music for some overplaying. Like we haven't had that other than there. I mean, there's like Billy Strings and there's some folks out now who are virtuosos. I don't know if they're getting to, Taylor Swift, Olivia
yeah,
Rodrigo level, but I do think there's room for another virtuoso thing with mass appeal. And, I don't know that Rush was ever that, but I mean, I think the thing they brought was like, we don't give a shit about
mm.
you and your pop sensibilities. We're going to crap all over these songs and you're going to like it. And I think there's room. I really do. I think there's room for some drum stops and whoa, that was a
Mm.
awesome fill that was 3 bars long inside of a pop song. And that's where I like to live in music. You know,
I think that it. I've just had a thought. When I was a kid, it was Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. Those were the bands. Queen passed me by. I
mm,
would never thought that at this point in time, so many decades later, that the biggest rock band in the world would be Queen. That Queen have ascended above a Led Zeppelin. They've ascended above all of these bands. Sabbath have done well, but a band like Deep Purple are nowhere. Even Jimi Hendrix is not seen as a Queen. Now, I think what Queen did was their stuff is very complex, incredibly complex, but they have songs with complexity. And I wonder whether that's why Russia now winning out, because people are going to those songs. Because the things that struck me going back to them, especially on Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures Signals, is how strong the songwriting is. It's like emblematic. They don't put a foot wrong. Spirit of the Radio is a song about great songs on the radio, and everything within it, from almost like the radio waves emanating out from Alex's guitar, to this sort of fanfare. The stuff's hard to play. It's technical, but it also serves the song so well. And I
Yeah.
think that could be what a new band would need to do. They'd really need to think of the songwriting, and I think the reference would be Queen. Can we do something that's like Queen or Rush? Can we write a Bohemian Rhapsody or a Tom Sawyer?
I can prove to you I'm the biggest Queen. Other side, the biggest Queen fan that there is, right? Um, I think if you look, it's same with Rush. If you look at all of their pile of music, a lot of it you wouldn't say that's a great song. I mean, the ones that are the great songs, "We
Yeah.
Are the Champions" and so on, like they're just absolutely wonderful, and we need that.
Mm.
And I think that's all we need. Like 3 out of 10. We need 3 out of 10 from some band that's going to come out and kill us with their song and their musicality, a la Rush in their prime. Closer to the Heart was a great
Yeah.
example. Like here, it's just bang. This is a song. We
Yeah.
need that. And I think people are ready for that. I really do.
I think you
People
might.
are,
I hope you are right. Now, before we finish up, there's another aspect that, as you did mention, you have produced some of the greatest drummers in history, and so you've been in the room with them playing. That's a yardstick which I think you brought to Neil Peart, and I think Neil, if he was here, we go, well, don't compare me to Jack DeJohnette or Vinnie Colaiuga. So it's like he just, he would know this. What can you tell us any stories of experiences of working with drummers, musicians at that level, of the
yeah.
sort? Have you got any killers, in the studio, like genius level stuff?
Um, uh, Jack was Mr. DeJohnette was uh, a little prickly because he didn't know me, and I was there with Dave Liebman, who brought me in, and Liebman trusted me,
Mm,
but Jack's like, "Who's this fuck guy?" And uh, so he came in with his. This was at where was it? I was at like Power Station or something in
oh
New
wow,
York,
yeah,
which is like I'm
yeah,
beside myself getting
yeah,
to work. And here comes DeJohnette. He's got his guy bring his drums in. He's great, no problem. And we're doing pretty traditional jazz stuff. A lot of ride cymbal. And he's got this monster set. I mean, it must have had 7 toms on it, and they're stacked in
mm,
front of him. Like what I mean. Instead of around, there's on top of each other
yeah,
going
yeah.
around. And he's got his Jack DeJohnette cymbals because he had cymbals at that time. And I remember I like you can't ask him to move a drum, so you can get some microphone in there. you know. So I was kind of stuck. Like I knew that he's gonna want to hear every single, tom
Mm,
on there as you would, a modern jazz drum recording. He's going to want to sound like,
yeah, yeah,
up close, everything's spread out. But the gig was not that. Like the gig was more of a traditional thing. I didn't know what to do, so I had to go to Lehman and say, hey, look, this guy's got a million fucking toms out there. I only have however many mics and channels. Like,
yeah.
what am I supposed to do? And Lee was like, dude, that's why we have you. That's your fucking problem. So I go in there and I'm trying to get mics all in there, big ones. And he's just looking at me like, how how am I supposed to play with all this shit? And I learned a lesson, which is you you just got to go in there with confidence and not ask them. They don't care. Like really, they don't care what's in front of them. Just don't get in their way. And that was a valuable lesson. Like get out of everyone's way, do what you got to do, and have thought about it ahead of time. It's about them playing and their comfort and their environment and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I did, you know, I, as a rock engineer, we're used to, we're going to spend a whole fucking day on the outer kick drum,
Yeah.
and all that, and they're just not interested, these guys.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I went to a big studio a few weeks back and did a session, and I'd forgotten that you're sort of sat there. You've got them behind the window, and they're all looking at you, but you can't hear what they're saying unless they speak to you. And you going, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go now.
Like, oh
And then
no,
you,
no, no, no.
and you sit
We've got
there,
to
and then they
figure
go,
out
yeah, we'll
the
be within a minute. We're just doing a blah blah blah, like this. Okay, and it's not, it has to happen. Now at home in my studio, I can mic all the drums up, get it all sorted out, and then go back home. And then I walk in the next day, it's all set up, and I do the drums ready to go. And then
yeah.
I don't have to, because my chops get bust waiting. And I got produced. I had a producer once produce an album I did with this blues guitarist called Dave Z. He worked with Prince on Purple Rain, and then he went on to be a producer working with Eric Clapton. And he spoke to me about this. He said, "You don't let your chops get bust." So he said, "Don't come in the control room and listen to the takes." He said, and he got me there quick. But he was really about, we're not there yet, so you go away. We're not there yet. He was controlling the timing of it. And he said to me, he goes, when we come to do this, he said, I know we're here all day. He said, but in terms of your drumming, we're going to get 2 hours out of you, and then that's done. So see the day as building up to those 2 hours, then you're in that zone, and then we'll, because we had 2 weeks in the studio to make this album. In the old days when you had deals, remember that? Paid you to
What?
go into the studio for 2 weeks, yeah. So that's interesting. Give us a Vinny story, because he is my idol.
Let's try to get a G-rated one. Vinny, I did not get to record him. I got to stand. So, a friend of mine in South Africa was in a sort of a world music band, and that band was the opener for Sting at that tour. So that, oh man, what was it? 10 Summoners Tales, I think
Yeah.
was that album. So Sting's now coming to South Africa. He's got like 10 dates down there, and of course I'm with my friend, the bamboo flute player, and his band, and I am just beside myself getting to stand on the side of the stage with these great people. And I guess Vinny sensed that this tall skinny dude was just staring at him all the time, which was me. And it, in a very kind of like, hey, paisan, in a very one of those, you like drums? And I'm like, yeah, I like drums. Like, you want to stand here while I play these drums? I'm like, yeah, I want to stand there while you play the drums. And I got like, I could have stood there during the show if he wanted. If he was like that gracious.
What does he do? You were watching. What was he doing?
Just there was a lot of notes and noises coming out that I wasn't seeing him play. Like a lot
exactly.
of, and I was watching him as close as I could. And like, where is that coming from? And that kind of thing, which was really, really nice for me to see.
I'm a Vinny nut, and so I was listening to like Shut Up and Play Your Guitar and all those Joe's Garage, all those albums I was into. Then I went and bought Zildjian Day in New York, which was a VHS cassette, cost 40 quid. It had about 40 minutes worth of drumming on it. But when Vinny came out, it was like and then the hands, they were doing
Like his hand is up here and 5 notes are coming out before that hand comes down. Like you don't know where to
yeah.
look.
And I think this is the difference between Vinny and Neil.
Mm,
Neil's amazing because you might not be able to play what Neil plays, but you know what he's doing. He's brilliant at communicating this thing to you and going, this is a fill. It goes all the way around the toms like this. Now I'm going to play these. And you know what he's doing. He's signposting it to you. Whereas Vinny was like, I haven't got a clue what he's doing. And at that point, I just dropped Neil. And it's like, I want to sound like that. I want to come out. And I tried so hard. And my take on it was just his voicing was interesting. Is that Vinny voices stuff on the drums in a way so his hands are moving in directions that you wouldn't normally go in, you know. So and so he will put a crash cymbal in without a bass drum, and then he's moving.
and it's right though.
Yeah,
Like he'll do it and it'll sound
and
right.
then, and then he'll do like a sort of Tony Williams roll between floor tom and bass drum. So you get like that, and you go, whoa! What? So you're seeing him going to the crash. There's no bass drum on it. You expect it to be that. You expect that lead bang, but you see it go up there and you don't realise he's gone on down here. You know, it's an unbelievable thing.
That was great.
Yeah, I got Dominic Miller's a very he's a friend of the channel, so he will he may remember you because I assume he was on that gig as well.
He was.
Yes.
It was funny. In South Africa, no one gave a damn about guitar players in the entire country. So I'm sure Dominic was used to like a little bit of adoration, because he's the guitar player for Sting, and like everyone's like, I don't even want to mess with you. Like there's a no guitar player zone down there.
Chatting to Dominic, I always get the feeling that there's all these things that a drummer needs to do for Sting, and there's play for the song, and we need this and we need that. But with Vinny, there was just no point in giving him any direction. He would just do whatever he wanted to do.
There's no notes. There's no notes for that guy.
No notes. He just does what he does, and that's it. And you just go, okay. It's been lovely talking to you, John. I'm glad we hooked up, and I'm glad. I love the fact that you can put your video out there, and then I see it, and then I can put something out there, and then I get to chat to the guy. It's like someone across, the other side of the world that's played with all my favourite musicians, and so I love this about music. It's still bringing us all together, and I think that's great. And I think what you said in the end, when you get past all the death threats and people losing their minds over it, music's great because it brings us all together. It's been lovely talking to you, and so I will have you in my whatever it would be, in my diary or whatever, address book. And so if I ever need a producer to come in and chat about something, would you be up for that, John?
Of course. Thank you so much, Andy. Yeah. In fact, I'm getting ready to shoot. You can't really see all these cameras. I got all around this place. I'm getting ready to shoot a how I did the mix video with multiple cameras all around. It's gonna be pretty good, I think. But anyway,
So go and check John out below. And my lot will. They will go and check him out. He's a really interesting guy. He's got the jazz thing. You're like doing more songwriter stuff. Is that right now?
Yeah.
Which is so you've done a lot of stuff. It's been great talking to you. Everyone spread the love of music. We can keep it going. No one will make any money out of it, but we can keep it going. That's what I have learned. So that's great.
Yay!
Yay.